Call our meeting back to order. Okay, um, we should have probably had a motion to go in private. We were in private, but did we have a motion to go in private? Welcome everyone that's joining us online. Okay. Good. Good morning, everyone. Sego Sowatwego. I would like to welcome everybody to the council meeting that's joining us online. And I will just outline who's here in person. We have Councillor Chris Miracle here. Councillor Ted Miracle is here in person. Councillor Joshua Hill is here in person. Councillor Stacia Loft is joining us by Teams. The Chief Administrative Officer, David Sullier, is joining by Teams. My assistant, Angie Miracle, is joining by Teams. In the council chambers, we have the Senior Director of Operations, Angela Miracle, and the Recording Secretary and Executive Assistant to the CEO, Shelley Bowden. So you have an agenda prepared for you, and it's our custom to start our meeting with prayer. So I'll say the traditional prayer of our people, called Ohodo Gariwatego. Gunjoko Sadawansiyos Go Nigariwesa Ne Egada Gadi Ohodo Gariwatego Unga de won no hage. Aguego unska adeniwe nuni ni ungwa nigora. Dano de yatiniwe rados ni okwe soha suk asuk aguego skono agonhage. Aguego unska adeniwe nuni ni ungwa nigora. Dano de yatiniwe rados ni yadet ni stunha. Ji yowanjadi ji sego ya ga wonhades. Ago satstonsara na e yoni yohage. Aguego, unska adeniwe nuni ni ungwa nigora. Dano, de tiniwe rados ni aguego, yo was a geo anjade. Aguego, unska adeniwe nuni ni ungwa nigora. Dano, de tiniwe rados ni aguego, yo was a garonhiade. Dano, ono, gadi aguego, de siwe no we rado, ni sungwaya dizo, de gasat stonsra, o won no so yera eto neo dunhuk neo negora. And it translates to read, my people, listen for a short time. The business has now come to pass. Everyone, we will bring our minds together as one and send our greetings to the people so that peace will continue for all. Everyone, we will bring our minds together as one and send our greetings to our mother, the earth, as she still goes along, giving of her own strength for us to live good lives. Everyone, we will bring our minds together as one and send our greetings to all things that support us on the earth. Everyone, we will bring our minds together as one and send our greetings to all things that support us in the sky and in the heavens. And now we send our greetings our greetings and our thanksgiving to Sungwayat Dizon, the Creator, the great strength of the natural world. Let this continue in our minds. And we also observe the Christian faith. Sungwat niha negarong hiage desiderung ogwasanada gondi sayanetsra andawat jinunsare et yawane ne hohunjage donenito negarong hiage dagyung nego nisarade nyate no insarage ungwanadrok ne oni dondagariosto nejum guari wanero chicha the gary wistonis ni rauri wanor axro ni oni dosa de guasarini Jinue dondagwe nyutne dondagoyadago Jinue ne gaya donsarakso ego esisawang ne gaya netra nagasat stonsara ne always onsra Jenyahoe awa. And in English, it's our Father who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And at this time, I would also like to remember the family of Harvey Brandt who passed away on Friday, where we extend our condolences to him and to his family. And we live in troubled times. We see so much warfare going on in the world. And I would like to just say a prayer for peace. Almighty Father, in your teachings, you taught us that we should live in peace and that we should embrace with sacred and recognize that all life is sacred. We ask you to guide and bless all those who labor to bring about peace in the world, in our communities, and our families. We lift up those who suffer the effects of war, all the innocent children that we see harmed, and the ordinary citizens who are harmed by the conduct of the leaders. We ask you to instill in everyone, the leaders especially, the good mind, so that they would work for peace, and the day may be hastened when war shall be more, but only love and kindness would govern the nations upon the earth. And this we ask through our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. So you have before you an agenda. So they'll review and adoption of the agenda is the first item of business. It'll be followed by the minutes of November the 1st, 2023. There'll be a time to question any business arising from those minutes. Any upcoming meetings of Chief and Council will be approved. We have a number of business registrations. The business registrations are for Artistic Inspirations, Martin's Beads and Crafts, Mohawk Auto Body, Mohawk Duty Free, Native Renaissance, Oyongwa Convenient, Quiddy Trade Services, Soaring Eagle Variety, the Gallery Cafe, the Work Gear, Five Nations, Central Trading Posts, Mohawk Soda Company, Mohawk NDT Services, Lily Dolls Farm, Nation's Finest Esso, Nation's Finest Convenience. Then we will go to the draft agenda for the Iroquois Caucus for some things that need to be put on the agenda with your approval. We'll have an update from about the Iroquois Caucus Harvesting Working Group, the update from the Tyendinaga Tourism Center, the ISC proposal. There are some legal invoices from Alan Pratt. There are some administrative positions that will be approved by council. We have some HR invoices from Hicks Morley. And we have an IESO funding Community Energy Champion Program, which will create some additional money for some staffing positions. Then we have an in-camera session with 34 items on it, and I'll be asking for one more to be added. Could we have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Motion.
Moved by Chris. Is there a seconder for that motion?
No, second that, Chief.
Seconded by Josh, Councillor Josh. Is there anyone opposed to adopt the agenda? It's been moved by Chris and seconded by Josh. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. We will go to the minutes of November the 1st, 2023. Are there any errors, omissions, or corrections? The motion 5, and I would have where it says approve to appoint in the second sentence, the second line, to approve the request from Queen's University. It's a request. We don't appoint university people, but we approve the request from Queen's University to appoint myself to the Queen's University Indigenous Oversight Council. So just add the word the request from Queen's University 4. The other thing is, are we buying a fire truck, or what kind of fire truck are we buying there in motion 6? It's
for the roads department.
It's for the roads department. Okay. 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 I get it. Okay. The roads department. Okay. Great. So in motion 8, we can just put the amount of what that funding agreement is in the amount and what it's for. In motion 8, we could just expand that. And after motion 11, where it says COVID and housing, all members who met the criteria, who instead of who fit the criteria, who met the criteria, change the word fit to met. In after motion 13, if we, do you know what time you arrived, Ted? We'll just put that time in there. Just give it time.
Was it 10:30?
It's in there.
Councillor Ted Miracle arrived, it says here after motion 13. Do you have a time, Shelley? Okay, well, just leave it for now, but in future, we'll just put the time of the arrivals. Now, the other thing in motion 16, the word is ether systems. What should, that doesn't sound right. What is that word ether? What should it read? In motion 16?
Should be water, I believe. But we can
Is it
clarify
meter? There's an echo, Stacia. I couldn't hear what you said, please. Could you repeat that?
Sorry, I thought it was water, but it could be meter. So I don't know if someone can verify.
Can we clarify, David or Angela, what that should read in motion 16? Thank you. Those are the only corrections I have. Does the council have any other corrections or omissions to the minutes?
I have a few and they've been provided in the document.
Okay, thank you. Oh, in motion 3, I was also attending the IESO conference as well as the Clean Statute unveiling. No, but it should go in the minutes. Yeah. Okay.
Chief, that should read, in motion 16, it should read water systems.
Water systems, okay. Okay. Okay, those are the only, no, on motion 4, is there any update on motion 4? For the geographic name, the staff were supposed to consult about the geographic name of Spitfire Island in the Bay of Quinte.
You mean business?
That would be in our business arising,
Okay.
Chief.
Okay. Is there any other corrections to the minutes? If not, can I have a motion to accept the minutes as corrected?
I can move.
Stacia, is there a seconder?
I'll second, Chief.
Chris? Okay, anybody opposed to accepting the minutes of November the 1st? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Business arising from the minutes. Motion 4. Have the staff had a chance to discuss the name of Spitfire Island in the Bay of Quinte?
We don't have anything to report back on that yet, Chief.
Okay, just make a note that I guess we could get, we'd like to respond to the inquiry, so if we could get an update for the next council meeting from staff, that'll be an action item.
Hi, Chief.
well-
Yes?
I've heard from Stephen. He's provided his responses. I think we're still waiting to hear from Amy, and Megan, so I can follow up in an email to them. I've already sent them an email asking for follow-up on that.
Thank you, Amzi. Okay. Okay, so Lisa's arranging the meeting then? So we can just get an update at the next council. That will be appreciated. That'll be an action item. And then motion 3,
Chief, I have a question.
go ahead.
Have we named anything in honor of Chief Earl Hill to date?
Not yet.
I'm suggesting we give consideration to name that island after Chief Earl Hill.
Okay. Earl Hill Island. Okay, we can note that in the minutes then. It's been recommended by Councillor Chris Miracle to name it Earl Hill Island.
Thank you.
His Mohawk name was Sagawiho. We could use the Mohawk name Sagawiho. And motion 8, can we get the information there, David, just what the amount of and what it's for? Delivery of services. Okay, does anyone else have any business arising from the minutes of November the 1st? Chris?
So I need some clarity, Chief. Will there be minutes from the November 8th meeting with MTO, or there's really no minutes to take? And if that's the case, regarding that meeting on November 8th, Chief, with MTO, I had some very serious concerns. If we looked at the email we received from the director at MTO, and I guess this applies to the whole corridor regarding care and control and ownership. At that meeting was stated they're in care and control, but
Administration and control.
their position is the community owns that land, and because we own the land.
No,
they
that
cannot-
isn't their position, Chris. They acknowledge they have administration and control of that land.
But if you read the email, Chief, I can pull the email back up, or someone pulled up for me, that email that we received in preparation for that meeting. Their position is they have no enforcement because we own that land. So if something was to happen, they've put it in writing to us saying, hey, we cannot enforce anything, it's your land. And I have grave concerns with that, and I'm recommending we get a legal opinion regarding who is liable in the event of a catastrophe.
So that'll have to be a motion then, Chris, to get a legal opinion concerning the Highway 49 corridor. I stated that when we met with them at the fire hall, that there was an federal order in council giving the province administration and control of that highway while it operates as a highway.
But if there were an accident and we end up in court, they're gonna say, you said this, but we put this in writing to your community saying, hey, it's your land. So I think. we
Well,
should get
does the
clarity.
council want the liability of the 49 corridor?
What I'm saying is they're already taking the position that it is our
Okay,
liability,
but
and we should review that.
okay, but a federal order in council has the force of law, really. It puts it squarely on their shoulders. They requested it. The council passed a resolution supporting the transfer of administration of control to the province to operate a highway, which includes what goes on in the corridor of that highway. It's called Kings Highway 49, not MBQ Road 49.
I would feel better, Chief.
Okay, we can get a legal opinion. If there's a motion, is there a seconder for that motion?
Can you clarify the motion?
It's to seek, is there any residual liability on the band concerning the operation, the administration and control of Highway 49 by the province of Ontario? The province constructed that highway, we didn't. They contracted with H.J.G. McFarland to build that highway with the permission of the band.
And you're of the opinion that we're not liable?
I don't believe we are.
Okay,
If
so-
we do something that in that corridor, we authorize something in that corridor without their consent. Now, one of the issues there is that there is some equipment from a gas station that has encroached on the highway corridor
So
within that 100-foot road allowance, with that 100-foot highway corridor.
So last Tuesday, November 7th, at approximately 5 to 12, we received an email from their director at transportation. And it says, as we are all aware, one of the challenges with this gas station is that a portion of the business is located on the Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. MTO does not have jurisdiction to enforce ministry mandate, policy and approaches on the territory. Our desire to work together, resolve that. With that hanging over our heads, I would like some clarity.
Well,
Legal
when
opinion.
we involve ourselves, then we probably do have liability if we involve ourselves. But really, right now, it is their call because it is their corridor that they have administration and control of to operate a highway. And the other thing, if you're going to encroach in the highway, then you have to get something called an encroachment permit. There is none for that they've issued, and they said it would be irresponsible to issue one.
Well, I'm hearing two different things, Chief, respectfully. They're saying it's not
The
their
council-
responsibility, and we're saying it's theirs.
Yeah, the council never gave anybody any permit to encroach on any of that corridor. We were never requested. You, with the council authorized a gas station on that corner, but you, that doesn't imply that you can encroach on the highway corridor.
Saying it's our corridor, and I think it's worth the money to have.
Okay, I'm not
that-
against it, Chris, if that would give you some comfort, but we need a seconder for the motion to engage a lawyer for that purpose. So is there a seconder for Chris's motion to engage, seek a legal opinion on any residual MBQ liability for the operation of Highway 49 with the province having administration and control under the federal order and council? Is there a seconder for that?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor Josh. Is there anyone who's opposed to having a legal opinion? Stacia, Ted, are you opposed?
No, I'm not opposed, Chief, but I think we don't answer.
Yeah. Okay, Stacia, are you opposed? Or supporting the motion?
I support the motion.
Okay, the motion is carried. Okay,
And who will we be engaging for that?
One maybe?
it would be somebody who deals with insurance liability, I would think, because David can talk to the law firm to find out. He
Sounds
best
good.
suited to answer that. Okay, any other business arising from the minutes? Any other business arising from the minutes? Seeing none. Upcoming meetings, of course, I think I've been approved to go to the joint gathering from Indigenous Services Canada on the 14th and 15th. I've already been approved for that. And to the AFN in December, where we elect a new national chief. That's in that you motion to approve that. It's done, Shelley? Okay, if not, can we get a motion for the AFN meeting? I don't know if I requested that or not. Amzie, did you put the AFN meeting on the list of meeting dates?
No, I haven't got to December yet, Chief.
Okay, the AFN meeting is the first week in December. Can I have a motion then to approve my attendance there? We'll be electing a new national chief.
Motion.
Okay, who will second it? Josh?
Who are voting, who's council voting for?
Well, we need to discuss that. Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried.
Where is it?
Ottawa. So we have a new business registration. It's a renewal for Artistic Inspirations. Deborah's Art Studio. There's been a fire inspection and insurance is not required. Is there a motion to approve?
Move, Chief.
Councillor Josh, is there a seconder? Second. Councillor Chris, anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. We have a business renewal for Martin's Beads and Crafts. Recommended with it, Martin's Beads and Crafts, general retail, environmental inspection reports done, insurance not required for the business registration purposes. Motion to approve.
I can move.
Councillor Stacia, is there a seconder?
Second.
Councillor Chris? Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. There's a business registration renewal for Mohawk Auto Body. Fire and environmental inspection completed, insurance is on file. Motion to approve, moved by Counselor Chris. Is there a seconder?
I can second.
Counselor Stacia, anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. A business renewal registration for Mohawk Duty Free. Fire and environmental inspection report is completed, PSSA license is attached, and insurance is on file. Motion to approve?
Motion.
Counselor Chris, is there a seconder? Been moved by Counselor Chris to approve the business renewal for Mohawk Duty Free. Is there a seconder?
I can second that.
Counselor Stacia. Motion is carried. There is a business renewal registration for Native Renaissance 2. It's general retail, fire and inspection report has been completed, insurance not required for the business registration purposes. Is there a motion to approve?
Chief, I'll move to approve this, and again, I'd like to know why we cannot request most businesses that have public come into the doors, why we don't require insurance.
Okay,
If there's an accident, I think the buck's gonna land up on our table, which is the community's table. Maybe an action item for.
okay, an action item will be then, why is business registration, why is insurance not required for this business? Or
Not-
any,
not just
or any of the
Any
businesses?
business that.
Any of the
that's for
businesses.
coming to the doors.
For some it is and for some it isn't. What's the rationale behind that?
It's in your policy.
It's been moved by Chris to approve it. Is there a seconder?
Yeah, I can second that.
Counselor Josh? Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. The business registration renewal for Oyonqua Convenience. Move. And so the fire and environmental inspections report, insurance not required. It's been moved by Chris, Counselor Chris, who will second it.
I'll second it, Chief.
Counselor Josh, anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. A business registration renewal for Quinney Trade Services. Move. Electrical, it's a member skilled trades Ontario, environmental and fire inspections completed and insurance is on file. It's been moved by Counselor Chris. Is there a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second that, Chief.
Counselor Josh, anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. A business renewal registration for Soaring Eagle Variety. The fire and environmental inspection report is completed. Insurance is not required for the business registration purposes. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Counselor Chris. Is there a seconder?
I can second.
Counselor Stacia, anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. A business renewal registration for Gallery Cafe. Fire and environmental inspection is completed. The insurance is not required for the business registration purposes. Moved by Counselor Chris. Is there a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second.
Counselor Josh? Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. A business renewal registration for the work gear. Fire and environmental inspection is completed, insurance not required for the business registration. It's been moved by Counselor Chris. Is there a seconder? Is there a seconder?
I can second.
Counselor Stacia? Anyone opposed?
I'll declare a conflict, Chief.
Conflict declared by Counselor Josh Hill. Okay. Motion is carried. Business renewal registration for Five Nations. It's a gas station and convenience store. The fire and environmental inspection is completed. Propane and gas TSSA license is attached and insurance is on file. Moved by Counselor Chris. Is there a seconder?
I can second.
Counselor Stacia? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. There is a business renewal registration for Central Trading Post. It's a trading post, convenience store, fire inspection completed, insurance not required. Moved by Counselor Chris. Is there a seconder? Is there a seconder for Central Trading Post? Seconded by Counselor Ted. Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. A business registration for Mohawk Soda Company. Sales and distribution office and specialty sodas. Sodas are made off-site in a shared approved facility county bound. This is the head office space only, insurance not required for business registration purposes. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Counselor Chris. Is there a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second, Chief.
Counselor Josh. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. A business registration for Mohawk NDT. Now, can somebody tell me what NDT stands for?
Non-destructive testing.
What is it?
Oh, I just, if you're reading, it's non-destructive testing.
Non-destructive
I don't know.
testing, okay.
I don't know what that means.
So it's a partnership agreement between a band member holding 51% and insurance is not required for the business registration purposes. Is there a motion to approve? A new business registration for Mohawk NDT services. Motion. Moved by Counselor Chris. Is there a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second it, Chief.
Counselor Josh Hill. Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Business registration for Lily Doll's Farm. It's a convenience store and grocery store. Fire and environmental inspection completed. Insurance not required for the business registration purposes. Motion to approve.
I can move.
Counselor Stacia, is there a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second, Chief.
Counselor Josh? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. The nation's finest SO is a new business registration. It's the CP is attached. It's a gas station. Fire and environmental inspections have been completed and a gas TSSA inspection is attached. Insurance is on file. Motion to approve. Motion. Counselor Chris, is there a seconder?
I can second.
Counselor Stacia? Is there anyone opposed? Oh, an MCR? Okay, so that'll be an MCR you're approving.
No, two motions.
Okay, then so that'll be another motion, okay. So a motion then to allow this business to apply for a tax exemption for gas for status Indians. Is there a motion to pass that resolution that's required?
Motion, Chief.
Is there a seconder?
I can second just to keep things consistent.
Councillor Stacia? Is anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the MCR is approved. And just for our listeners, an MCR is a Mohawk Council resolution. The Iroquois Caucus agenda for the November meeting, is Shu going to come to the meeting? Is she here today, Angela?
Nation's finest convenience.
Oh, yeah, I think we got one more. Finest convenience needs, is a convenience store, the CP letter attached, fire and environmental inspection is completed, insurance not required for the business. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Councillor Chris. Is there a seconder? Is there a seconder?
Also,
Councillor Ted. Is anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Okay, the Iroquois Caucus draft agenda. The draft agenda for the November General Assembly is being prepared. There have been senators and MPs invited to attend the meeting. To date, there have been no confirmations of any attendance. Review the draft agenda and identify if any items need to be added to the draft agenda. So the meeting will take place on November the 29th and 30th at the Ottawa Marriott Hotel at 100 Kent Street. The first order of business will be to adopt the agenda, to review the record of decisions made by the Iroquois Caucus Committee of August 2023, to review the action and report on the action items, the hiring of the Iroquois Caucus Coordinator, introduction, says may be here, move to item 2 if new hire attends the meeting. Iroquois Caucus financial update, invoices up for the fiscal year 2020-22-23, review the proposed balance sheet template, meetings with MPs and senators, and of course they have to confirm preparation schedule times once invitations are accepted. The J Treaty Border Alliance update, the BFC protocol agreement, BFC attend IC in the spring of 2024, an update on Bill C-53, the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Initiative, environmental side table, working group, this is a go, additional attendees, the Iroquois Caucus Harvesting Group update, Iroquois Caucus Strategic Plan, update the IC terms and KG school request, Six Nations Cannabis Commission, November 30th to be announced, to be determined, and then the next meeting date. Does council have anything that they wish to put on this agenda? If not, can we approve that this agenda as proposed?
If I could suggest perhaps a conversation on, or an agenda item on the AFN election and candidates. Discussion on candidates.
Okay, we'll add that. Is there any other add-on items? I would suggest that we ask the people that are running, maybe they can could join by teams or something and just go over their platforms with the delegates, but I know that's going to happen with the Chiefs meeting, that we're expecting that those candidates will be on there to discuss their platforms.
I know it's already a pretty big agenda, Chief, especially if you're going to have candidates for the national chief join you. But I would like to see that court case that just went through be discussed at that table in the future. So it's not necessarily for this next agenda, but perhaps future agendas. I think the Iroquois Caucus should have a couple good chats about that.
This is on the Métis rights, right?
No, sorry, this is the Derek White tobacco
Okay.
ruling.
Yeah, the treaty right was upheld by the court.
Yeah,
I was happy to see that.
yeah. So that could be.
That has been such a controversial file for so many years. There's been so many court cases over tobacco.
I'm sure it'll be discussed at multiple tables, but I think this should be
Sure.
one.
Okay, we can,
Shushu just said that Ganawagi is conducting review of the case and will provide an update.
Perfect.
okay. So there's two items then. Can we just make a motion to add those two items?
Shu just provided an update that Kanawage is going to share some information. So.
That's good then. So just the election of the national chief then. Okay. Can we have a motion to add that to the agenda, approve the agenda with that one added item? Moved by Chris, who will second it?
I can second it.
Second by Josh. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. The Iroquois Caucus Harvesting Working Group. So Chris, you're on that committee? Are they meeting? So they prepared a meeting, scheduled a meeting for November 24th in Tyendinaga. The primary agenda items will be to review the criteria for the IC involvement in harvesting legal issues and planning an ISC Hunters Summit. The Iroquois Caucus Hunting Working Group Chair Jessica Lazare, I think that should be Lazore, is requesting that additional agenda items be submitted in advance of the meeting on November 24th. Are there any additional agenda items? Did we get the reimbursement of from the Iroquois Caucus concerning the hunting case in Prince Edward County? Angela, do you know? Or David?
Legal harassed.
Okay, just
Yeah, I don't know offhand.
if you could just send Cecil an email, ask her, did we ever get the money from the Iroquois Caucus? Because there was a motion passed by the chiefs to reimburse MBQ some of the legal costs, similar to what they had in the other case.
Yes, we received reimbursement.
We did? Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Great. So then were there any additional items for that November 24th meeting, Chris, that you're aware of? Chris Cakebread from M&R sent me a status report on the two cases that people are facing charges here. I just got an update from him this morning, and so I'll be sending that to the council later on today. You might want to bring that up because people are still being charged for hunting. And to me, I think, again, there was, the Royal Proclamation of 1763, when the Treaty of Fort Stanwix was negotiated or settled to draw a boundary line with the Allegheny Mountains, all the land beyond that were reserved as the Indian hunting ground. And in the colonial documents, it's riddled with, assure the Indians of the Crown's and good intentions, to preserve their hunting rights. And there is the Nanfan deed, which that connects just west of the Niagara area, that land bridge that that connects Canada and US there. In 1700 or thereabouts, it was surrendered to the English crown under the guarantee that our hunting rights would be preserved. And so that's called the Nanfan Treaty. And there's a lot of historical references about preserving and protecting our people's hunting rights, but yet our people have been charged. And I've always brought that up with the ministry officials. Whenever they call me about a hunting right, I said, you need to go back to the original agreements and look at it, and what do they mean? I said, because there was land given that the crown did take control of, and the promise was made that our hunting rights would always be preserved. And so I said, in my view, our people should not be charged with hunting offenses. But what's happening, instead of charging them in some places with hunting offenses, they're getting charged with trespass offenses. I said, you can't have a right and not have nowhere to exercise, otherwise the right doesn't exist. And I said, we've asked you many times, where can our people go and hunt deer without facing M&R charges? And I have not yet ever got an answer. Chris, go ahead.
Were the charges for not having a gun permit, or were the charges for hunting out of season or whatever?
Trespassing on somebody else's land.
That's what the charge was?
Yes. They do have to have, a firearms registration. They do have to have the PAL and all that kind of stuff to have the weapon to hunt for hunting purposes, or they can be registered under exercising an Aboriginal right to do that. But to have a gun, they're supposed to have those documents. So anyway, there needs to be more education concerning hunting, and but we also have a responsibility to defend our rights to hunt. Okay, anyway, I'll send that letter from Chris, the email from Chris Cakebread around to the council. Okay. So do you have any items, Chris, to add to the 24th meeting? Any other member of council? Okay, so So motion then, I guess, just to, we'll just send the Chris Cakebread email to the Iroquois caucus for their review, so they just to update them what's going on here. Yes, we do. Chris, who will second it?
I'll say.
Ted? Motion is carried. Okay, tourism. So Indigenous Services Canada requires a Mohawk Council resolution for the funding of the design and feasibility of the Tyendinaga Tourism Center. And the request is to approve and sign an MCR.
Motion, Chief.
Moved by Chris, who will second it. So the resolution will read, whereas the Tyendinaga Mohawk Council has agreed to support the design and feasibility of a new build Tyendinaga Tourism and Visitor Center, and whereas the council is requested by Indigenous Services Canada as part of corp funding to commit 20% to this project, which comes to $44,745. Therefore, be it resolved, the council will commit the required funds for the design and feasibility portion of the proposed new build of a Tyendinaga Tourist and Visitor Center upon approval from Indigenous Services Canada.
That had a staffing component to it, right? That we talked about, like I don't want to say a business center, but it was something where someone's going to be housed out of that.
Well, there would have to be staff to operate it. If you're going to have a visitor center, then there has to be staffing. So what are the staffing implications? Is this going to be is this going to create a funding pressure on the existing budget, David or Angela?
So Chief, I think we would need to do the feasibility to actually identify those things. So I can't comment today. I don't know what it looks like. That's why we need to do feasibility and design.
Yeah, I just asked some clarification. Like, the thought is that there will be people housed, like there will be staff housed out of this facility, correct?
Yeah, that'd certainly be my thought, Josh.
Sure.
How many? I have no idea.
Okay.
You know.
I just
Yeah,
wanted
you
to make.
couldn't really have it just a walk-in center with nobody there. Most tourism centers are like that, or have somebody there.
A lot of them are kind of self-serve. Like a lot of them are just for passerby, right? But I can second the motion for the feasibility study.
Okay. Second by Josh. Is anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Alan Pratt invoices. There's related to the Culberson tract, $1,217 year to date, $24,644.50. The Turton Pen loss of use, $703 year to date, $1,004.50. Surrender 24, 2,000. There's a number, too many numbers there. 2,000, what should that number be? There's too many numbers there.
Well, if they, yeah.
I'm sorry, Angela?
2288.50.
Motion to approve payment.
Yeah, just make that correction on your agenda sheet. There's too many numbers there. It's moved by Chris to approve the payment. Is there a seconder?
I can second it.
Counselor Josh? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. The human resources managers put on here 2 issues. The draft position descriptions for the executive assistant to the chief, executive assistant and council.
So if I could just jump in here, principally speaking, I do support the creation of these additional positions, but I do think that this may be something that council wants to defer the discussion on to the next council, because it will be the group of 6 new councillors at the table, as well as the chief, that will have to see what they need and what works. So again, you know, I support the creation of the positions, but I do think that you guys might want to just defer this.
Yeah, the other thing I don't want to, I guess take away, you know, what the work that's already ascribed to one of the other staff. Like, you know, it's so what impact does that have on the organizational structure, especially if some of the minute taking, you know, shifts to somebody else, and then the follow up on those minutes falls to my office instead of administration. Then I guess that what does those are incorporated in somebody else's job description.
My recommendation, Chief, would be that this should be discussed not only with the next council, but
Defer
also
to next team.
with the senior management staff as well, because to see how these positions are going to fit. I think it would be a good idea that more thoughts taken into the job descriptions.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's some things that I don't really agree with on here, but I think I'd leave that for the next. To be able to work out.
So then are you making a motion to defer it to after the election?
I make a motion to defer, it, but also that it should be sent back to the senior management table as well.
It went to the table and then they provided comments back,
And this is incorporates all their
Yeah.
comments.
as far as I know.
Okay. Yeah, then I would just defer to the next council and let them.
It's been moved by Ted to defer it.
Chief?
Chris?
Defer both positions or the
Both.
one for the council?
Both.
Okay, because I thought at the end of the day, we kind of agreed that the executive assistant to the chief is kind of,
Yeah, but that's what they're saying in here is not quite. That's some of the things I don't agree with. I guess is
Okay,
what's
I
written
don't
in here,
know.
but more thought, and we'd have to look into that a little deeper. But when I say we, I say the next council will have to maybe dig into that. Where it says, balance. Through a competitive process for both positions, I still think,
no,
I think still the chief's
right.
assistant.
Sorry.
But Chris, they still have to be able to fit within the organization as far as CPICs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So that's the discussion I think that needs to take place probably at the next council.
so I guess my, sorry, Wish, I'm sorry.
Just to define that, that's all.
Chief, this is the second time, it must be the third time we've had this discussion, I think, where, I'm not sure all of council, but I know half of council have in mind that the EA is the chief's assistant for his term, reports to him. And if that's not what we're seeing yet, last council, we were pretty well unanimous on that. Curious as to why it's back in there again.
I think part of it's probably coming from an HR perspective is that this person has to follow all the different rules of the organization as far as privacy and stuff. So they'd have all that things assigned. I think that's probably where they're coming from with this, instead of just leaving it all up to the chief just to pick somebody. I think that's where I think that's where the discussion would go with the next council, is to define those exactly what do you mean? 'Cause as far as the competitive part goes, again, I'd leave that up to the chief. And if the chief wants this person, then that person has to go through an HR process then, right? To make sure that, the CPIC is clear, whatever, the privacy papers are all signed and all that sort of stuff. I think that's what the discussion probably would be at the next council chief table. I think that's probably what it's coming from.
It doesn't change that the chief picks the assistant to him.
Yeah.
Which is what you guys have been saying all along, which is what was done. And the executive, we had mentioned at the last meeting, because it's for 6 people, you're not, reporting to 6 people, who's there to have a report to administration meeting. A full-time position.
Yeah, no,
That says there you have continuity.
I don't think we're questioning that position. I think it's the chief's assistant position. When
Which
you
hasn't
talk about,
changed in the
Well, no.
fact that they.
well, we do
still
want
will
to
be
change. No,
picked
that's what
by
I'm
the-
saying,
the-
because,
The person who's the chief. And you're
Well-
right, they will still go through the process of CPICs and like.
well,
all
the part
those
I don't
things.
agree with is the competitive process that we would normally put employees through.
I don't
that's
think
what's
that
in
there
here.
is a competitive
Well, that's what it
process for
says in
chief.
here.
Well, the duties can't overlap, because they start interfering with other people's job description. Those people are going to say they're constructively dismissed from their job. I want to make sure there's nothing like that happening in this.
You see it at the bottom, HR recommendation there, and to go through a
Sorry, are
competitive
you on the
process.
agenda page?
I'm looking
Yeah,
at this.
I'd
the
like,
briefing
material that I
I'd like a
got.
little bit more time to study this too.
So I'll just reiterate my point that I think that the majority of the members of this council are not going to be at the table in the next term. And I do think that this is a discussion that the council coming in will want to have. I think that when everybody is on the ground, they'll have an opportunity to sort of figure out what kind of supports that they need, and will supplement this discussion.
Yeah.
I've been clear before, and I'll restate my position again. I will maintain that I do think that the chief's assistant should be picked by the chief. And, so long as that chief is in office, that whoever they have as their assistant will remain in that position on a term-by-term basis that lines up with the election. I will say, though, that it is important that all of the other necessary things are done, like criminal, CPIC checks and all of the other things for the accountability associated with the position. But I maintain my belief that this should be a discussion for the next council and not this one.
Yeah, I agree with that too, Dave, but there's no, see, again, we're into this discussion, but I think the next council
I'm just
will
wondering
pick this
if
up.
she's made a mistake.
No, here's another one though. HR recommends that EA to the chief position is a 2-year term position. I wouldn't say that. I'd say it's a position as long as the chief is in that position.
Well,
HG will bring whoever they want to
guarantee
work there.
years of the
Not
time that
necessarily,
was
not
not-
necessarily.
No, but you can have them come back. They're just saying for this term.
I'm just
Well, I
saying,
think-
some might happen where the chief isn't able to continue on.
In the middle of the term?
Yeah, something may happen.
You could
I mean,
get
heaven
sick and
forbid,
die or
know.
become sick
Well, I
or
didn't want to say anything. But as long as the chief
is in the office.
isn't, somehow has to be
She's
tweaked.
reading the
But I
word.
think that would be again, I think you would have picked that up at the next table, like the council table would probably pick that up.
Well.
So we're having the discussion now ahead of that.
Trying to
table.
turn it around in like 3 to 4 business days, so, sorry.
Yeah, that's why it's a good.
Well,
good
respectfully,
point
there-
that, it's a good point.
Respectfully, there's an election coming up and it needs to be back.
Right, you wanted it back right away, so that's, sorry if we kind of missed a couple of things there, but yeah.
Well, that's why we
fix that.
wanted for like more discussion. And then the next, so did I move up?
You moved to defer it. Is there a seconder? I think it's wise. I need some more time to study this job description and have a talk with, make sure there's no overlap and who, if the other people's jobs are being affected by it, then how do they feel about it?
I think we can go on record though and say that the
Because I do not want to take over somebody else's duties in their job description and create confusion.
to reiterate, we support the idea that the chief would I guess select his assistant. Again, still bound by
Okay.
process, but that it be for as long as the term of that chief.
And the other thing too, then, if that person is recording the minutes, they would have to go to the executive meeting of the staff because the direction is given there should be given there by the chief administrative officer and the recording secretary to the council.
Now I start to muddy the waters again. I think we should look at cross-training, having some other staff.
I don't mind that my executive assistant taking minutes if Shelley's not able to, that's one occasionally, but if that becomes a major part of their function, I think the follow-up work that needs to be done on the political stuff is going to be lacking because quite often they can be on the phone juggling minutes because there's always somebody can't come, then they're reorganizing the minutes and reorganizing the hotels. There's just all of this kind of things that go on, and then you have community members coming in about their issues that they're concerned about that we have to follow up with staff on to, for the communication process. There can be a lot of that too. And people showing up wanting to be seen without an appointment, there's all of that.
So would it be fair to say, again, that we are in agreement that the chief's assistant should be the chief's assistant? And then
That's my view.
the duties that are needed for an expanded council
Yeah.
are to be further examined and explored and eventually approved by that new council.
Because the reason that David and Angela attend council is to to know what decisions are being made by council, and it's their job on the administrative side to see that the direction of council is implemented. If it becomes the duty of my assistant to make sure that happens, that's a significant
So
change in role.
If I can reiterate again that the assistant to the chief is kind of somewhat decided or determined, like the roles and responsibilities and the duties required of the council are still to be determined, so that it's not the chief's assistant doing the things that he just described that would become problematic. So just want to see if we can at least agree on that.
I would agree with that.
Okay. Yeah.
Chris?
I agree, but we keep bringing this back up and we keep muddying the waters for that person kind of moving here. If we have a new secretary to the council, that person could really show that she's not here. you get that continuity. But
Yeah.
yeah, we can't throw muddy in the waters, the chief's assistant over here for this. Well, they showed on vacation for weeks.
No, Charlie, when Charlie was there, he did draft a lot of letters for the staff that really were not part of, I would say, the responsibility of my office. But he did it to help out, which it did, if there's, if things need to get done, teams pull together and they all contribute to help out.
Here's a question for you. In the absence of your assistant, who would fulfill those duties?
I guess to me, I think that all the staff that work for us are here to support the council.
No,
so
but I understand,
would
but
go
your
ask some of
assistant
the
would be
staff
entitled to
members.
vacation and
Yeah,
holidays
no,
and
they
sick
do.
days
Or
as
that
well.
if they're sick, then
So in
they know
there,
that
but if
you
there's,
just go to whoever is available that would have the information that you need.
but I think that's where maybe this,
Usually I would call Shelley if we have looking for clarity on motions or something like that. I'd give her a call because she's in control of the minutes.
one could argue that would muddy the water though. So I think having an outlined process and a structure would be beneficial for both outside of your office, but also when your office isn't at full capacity, then it's designated who is doing this, who is doing that, who is booking your this, who is talking to this person.
Well, sometimes I get spread pretty thin in a day.
100%. We agree. So I just think that that's where maybe this other half of the conversation could have some benefit as it's designing this. We agree on, I think, more than I think we agree on most things. I haven't heard something that we disagree on yet as it comes to your assistant or the chief's assistant. But I think there is obviously a correlation between the two, even if they're separate.
Yeah. And there's times when I would want Amity to come simply to record the conversation that's going on, because if you're engaged in the discussion, you're trying to write what somebody else is saying, and you're a little bit distracted. So
I think what I think is outstanding, or not outstanding, but what exists is the chief's assistant position and the duties that the council needs to have, I guess, clear responsibilities as to who's looking after what.
So really, and I guess the other thing sometimes, it's very important for the council to answer their emails. If you're going to go to something, because the staff is waiting for, if they need to book a hotel for you, are you going to go on the train? You're going to take a car? They have to book all of that. And if they don't, and if it's always just rush in at the last minute, sometimes we have to pay more for the hotel. It can be, a car might not be available, so you need to let them know so they can finalize the details if you're going to go to a meeting. And quite often the staff have complained that they have to dog the council to answer their emails. So we have to, it's important for these jobs to function, that people get back to their questions on the email. If you don't need more information, say so, but sometimes there's just no response. The staff have brought that to my attention.
So I can second Ted's motion to defer this to be finalized by the new council
The new council, okay? Next council.
and allow for more discussion. Chief, you said you wanted to look at it
I
some
just
more.
wanted to study this more,
Yeah.
and understand what the implications are.
So I can second that motion.
Okay, is there anybody opposed to the motion moved by Chris, Ted, and seconded by Josh to defer this to the next council to give it more time for study and review? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. The Hicks Morley invoices relating to HR matters. The invoice number is dated August 31st, 2023. The amount of $3,623 for HR matters. Motion to approve payment. Moved by Ted. Is there a seconder?
I can second that.
Counselor Stacia. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. The IESO Energy Champion, there's $180,000 from the IESO to hire a community energy champion for a 3-year contract. And the recommendation is to approve the attached MCR. to accept the funding from the ICO totaling 180,000 to hire a community energy champion for 3 years. Is there a motion to approve the Mohawk Council resolution for this purpose?
Chief, I move to approve, and then I will just have a question regarding, is this more appropriate to support to tech? It seems like it's an infrastructure position. Maybe a tomato.
Well, just that we have band property maintenance, like it's how to make these buildings more efficient. So Tom Kring's department looks after band property, and so I would think it's probably appropriate there.
Yeah, it just talks about energy production, and I'm a big proponent of creating our own energy as opposed to being a small partner with other ones.
From what I understand, it's energy efficiency.
No, and forms of energy production.
The responsibility is oversee the planning, scheduling, budgeting, and regular communications with the project team for MBQ energy-related projects. Seeking funding for energy projects, engage with community about MBQ energy projects via surveys, workshops, newsletters, and websites. Network with other CECs to share and gather information on energy strategies. Attend meetings related to energy projects or initiatives. Review and coordinate an update on MBQ's community energy plan. Prepare reports, conduct presentations for multiple stakeholders, including Chief and Council, the Director of Housing and Band Property. Provide project coordination administration duties, MBQ energy-related projects. In addition to the above, CEC will coordinate and host an annual community information session for residents to be informed about ongoing energy projects and to express their opinions about future energy projects, $7,500. Attend annual energy conference to build capacity as leader in energy, $7,500. The position will report to the Director of Housing and Band Property and will work collaboratively with both housing maintenance supervisor, the building maintenance or relevant energy projects and initiatives. Examples: LED lighting retrofits for the remaining band buildings, natural gas conversions for eligible band-owned buildings, net zero energy retrofits for existing residential rental units, review and identify feasible buildings for the net metering opportunities such as the Elders Lodge, assist the building team with net zero energy and R2000 certification for North Street tiny village homes. Those were some examples. So a lot of it does relate to housing.
Okay, I'm good, Chief.
So
Option one,
I don't think these are mega projects. I think they might be microgrid projects.
sure.
It was moved by Chris, who will second it.
And I could second it, and I think having that person on staff would be an asset where maybe if there are opportunities in other departments, that there could be some knowledge sharing, having an expert like there in the bullpen.
The staff are not really compelled to work in silos. If they need to talk to each other, that if it makes sense, well, then that's what they should do. So it's been moved by Chris. Is there a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Councillor Josh. Anyone opposed? Seeing none. The upcoming community meetings on Saturday, November the 18th, from 7 to 10 is the MBQ Candidates Night. November the 27th from 7 to 10 p.m. is the MBQ Candidates Night. November 28th at 4 p.m. is the Mohawk Local Council Business Meeting. December the 2nd is the election at Quinte Mohawk School. December the 13th at 9:30 a.m. the council will meet to approve the final minutes of the outgoing council. And that's it for the upcoming meetings. That concludes our public portion of our council meeting. So we'll be getting a motion to go in camera. And I would like to thank anyone who's joined us online and wish you all a pleasant day. And thank you very much for your interest and wishing everybody the best. That's it for the public portion. We will now have a motion to go in camera.
Chief, before we have a motion to go private, I respectfully ask that the council, perhaps they can do this after they review the minutes of our private. My motion would be to put the private minutes from that meeting in the public. It is all community affairs, there's no one's personal business.
Okay,
There's a whole lot of items there, like Dan Brandt's presentation. There's nothing private about that. And it gives people an up-to-date. Oh, here's
well, the
Dan
report is not finalized yet,
I
so,
know, but at least keeps the community engaged.
Yeah.
And like, okay, here's where we're at with this.
okay. Well, he gave us an update on basically what the surveys,
I know,
and
I know.
it's still under review yet.
Okay. Okay, maybe then I'll wait to table that motion.
Okay. I think there should be a community session about what, and Dan should present his report, what the findings were, not only to the council, but to the community, because he was engaged to do that report, and take questions, because he conducted the survey on behalf of the, under a contract with
Yes, Chief.
council.
Yeah, no, it's more of a process issue that a lot of the stuff that's in private, maybe
Mhm.
shouldn't be private, it should be
Yeah.
public, because it's public
Okay,
domain. So on that note, I'll move to go in private.
moved by Chris, who'll
Second.
second it? Josh? Okay, it's